Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have ever felt stuck? You had a dream, a calling, a deep desire placed in your heart, but instead of moving forward, you hesitated. You thought about it, you analyzed it, you waited for the perfect time, but the moment never came. Let me tell you something. Overthinking is the enemy of action. You can think yourself into fear, you can think yourself into doubt, you can think yourself right out of your destiny. Some of you have been waiting for a sign, a confirmation, a guarantee that everything will be perfect before you start. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need another sign. You need to start. Faith is not just believing, faith is moving. When Peter saw Jesus walking on water, he didn't just sit in the boat and think about it. He didn't analyze the depth of the water or wait for better weather. No, he took a step. And the moment he moved, the impossible became possible. Some of you are drowning in hesitation. You're waiting for the fear to go away, but fear doesn't leave first. Action comes first, and fear fades later. How many dreams have been buried because of inaction? How many opportunities have been lost because someone kept waiting? Let me tell you, the greatest tragedy is not failure. It is never starting. Today I challenge you. Stop waiting, stop doubting, stop delaying. The time to move is now. If you want to change your life, start today. If you want to make a difference, take the first step. If you want to walk on water, get out of the boat. Because when you step out in faith, mountains move, doors open, and the impossible becomes reality. Thinking is a gift, but when it turns into overthinking, it becomes a prison. Too many people get caught in the endless cycle of what if, and maybe later. They analyze every possibility, consider every outcome, and before they know it, days turn into weeks, weeks into years, and the opportunity they once had is gone. Overthinking is the enemy of progress. It paralyzes you with fear, convincing you that you need more time, more knowledge, or more resources before you can begin. But the truth is, no amount of thinking can replace action. You don't have to have every step planned out before you take the first one. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the next step. Overthinking tells you to wait until the conditions are perfect, but life doesn't wait. Opportunities don't last forever. The longer you think without acting, the harder it becomes to move forward. Doubt creeps in, fear gets stronger, and before long you convince yourself that the dream was never meant for you in the first place. Some of you have been sitting on an idea, a calling, a purpose, waiting for the right moment to step forward. But let me tell you, the right moment is now. Overthinking will keep you stuck, but action will set you free. Stop hesitating, stop second-guessing, start doing. Because the only way to truly know what's possible is to begin. Faith is not just something you think about, it's something you live out. Real faith moves, it steps forward even when the path isn't clear. Too many people say they believe, but their actions don't reflect it. They wait for a perfect sign, a guaranteed outcome, or absolute certainty before they take a step. But that's not faith. That's hesitation dressed up as wisdom. When Peter saw Jesus walking on water, he didn't stay in the boat analyzing whether the waves were too high or the wind too strong. He stepped out, he moved, and the moment he did, the impossible became possible. Faith always requires action. You can't just believe in change, you have to step into it. You can't just hope for a better life, you have to start living differently. Some of you are waiting for every fear to disappear before you begin, but faith is moving forward in spite of fear. Faith says, I don't see the whole picture, but I trust enough to take the next step. It's not about having every answer, it's about believing enough to begin. The greatest breakthroughs, the biggest miracles, the most powerful transformations don't happen when people sit and think about them. They happen when people take action. If you believe in something, don't just think about it, live it. If you feel called to do something, don't just dream about it, start now. Because faith without action is just a wish, but faith with action changes everything. Great things never happen all at once. They happen through small, consistent steps. Too many people delay action because they believe They have to make a giant leap to see progress. They think if they can't do something big right away, it's not worth doing at all. But that's a lie that keeps people stuck. The truth is, every great achievement starts with a single, simple step. A massive oak tree begins as a tiny seed. A long journey begins with one step forward. A life-changing habit starts with one small decision. The problem is, many people despise small beginnings. They want instant results, overnight success, and immediate transformation. But real change comes from steady, daily movement in the right direction. It's the small, consistent steps that build momentum, that create lasting impact, that turn dreams into reality. Some of you have been waiting for the perfect moment, the right conditions, the ideal situation to begin. But the perfect time never comes. Start where you are with what you have. You may not be able to see the whole path, but you don't have to. Just take the next step. When you do, doors will open, strength will grow, and what once seemed impossible will become achievable. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It's the willingness to take small steps every single day. So stop waiting for the big breakthrough and start moving forward now, even if it's just one step at a time. Because one step leads to another, and before you know it, you'll be standing in the place you once only dreamed of reaching. Fear is the voice that tells you to wait, to hesitate, to stay where it's safe. It whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if people judge you? And too often people listen. They let fear dictate their choices, and instead of stepping forward, they come up with excuses. I don't have enough time, I'm not ready yet, maybe later. But the truth is, fear and excuses go hand in hand. One feeds the other, and together, they keep people from ever reaching their full potential. Excuses feel reasonable in the moment. They sound like wisdom, like logic, like valid reasons to wait. But in reality, they're just fear in disguise. No one ever achieved anything great by making excuses. No one ever changed their life by waiting until they felt completely ready. The people who move forward are the ones who act despite their fear, who refuse to let excuses hold them back. Some of you have been putting off your dreams, delaying your purpose, waiting for the right time. But let me tell you, fear will never leave on its own. It only shrinks when you step forward. The only way to silence excuses is to stop making them and start doing something instead. You may feel afraid, but fear doesn't have to control you. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward even when you feel it. You can either have progress or excuses, but you can't have both. So today make a choice. Stop letting fear hold you back. Stop giving yourself reasons to stay the same. Take action, no matter how small, and watch as fear loses its grip. Because once you stop making excuses and start moving forward, you'll realize that fear was never as powerful as you thought. It only had the power you gave it. Inaction has a price, and it is far greater than most people realize. Every time you hesitate, every time you put something off, every time you wait for the right moment, you are paying a cost. You may not feel it immediately, but over time, it adds up. Missed opportunities, wasted potential, and deep regret. The sad truth is, many people don't recognize the weight of inaction until it's too late. They look back on their lives and see not just the things they did wrong, but the things they never did at all. Some of you have dreams, goals, and callings that have been sitting dormant for years. You've thought about them, planned for them, talked about them, but you haven't acted on them. And every day that passes without movement is another day lost. Time doesn't wait. Life keeps moving. The opportunity you have today may not be there tomorrow. The door that is open now may close if you don't walk through it. The cost of inaction is not just the opportunities you miss. It's the person you could have become. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every success is built on action. But when you choose not to act, you stay the same. You remain stuck in the same patterns, the same struggles, the same place. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. Some people say, what if I fail? But they never ask, what if I never try? Failure is not the enemy, stagnation is. Regret does not come from trying and falling short. It comes from never moving at all. The longer you delay, the more you lose. So today, make a decision. Stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop paying the price of inaction. Step forward now, because the cost of staying where you are is far greater than the risk of moving ahead. There comes a moment when thinking, planning, and preparing must end, and action must begin. That moment is now. Too many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect time, waiting until they feel ready, waiting until every detail is figured out. But life doesn't wait. Opportunities don't last forever. At some point, you have to stop waiting and start moving. Some of you have been standing at the edge of a decision, knowing deep down that you need to take a step. Maybe it's a dream you've been holding on to, a change you need to make, or a calling that has been stirring inside you. You've thought about it, prayed about it, talked about it, but now it's time to do something about it. The longer you delay, the more doubt will creep in. The more you hesitate, the easier it becomes to stay exactly where you are. But you were not meant to stay in the same place forever. Growth requires movement. Progress demands action. Fear will tell you to stay where it's safe. Excuses will try to convince you that you're not ready. But the truth is, there will never be a perfect time. There will never be a moment when everything is lined up just right. The only time you have is now. If you want change, start today. If you want to reach your potential, take the first step. If you want to live with purpose, stop standing still. So you don't have to know every detail of the journey, you just have to begin. The road ahead will reveal itself as you walk. Doors will open as you move. Strength will come as you take each step. But none of that happens until you decide to act. So let this be the moment you stop hesitating, stop second-guessing, stop overthinking, move forward, step into the unknown, trust that you have what it takes. Because the life you're meant to live, the purpose you're meant to fulfill, the impact you're meant to make, it's all waiting on the other side of action. You have thought long enough. You have waited long enough. The time for hesitation is over. The time for action is now. Overthinking has held you back. Fear has whispered excuses, and inaction has stolen opportunities. But today, you stand at a crossroads. You can keep waiting, keep doubting, keep delaying, or you can take a step forward. Faith is not just believing, it is moving. Change doesn't come through wishing, it comes through doing. The path ahead may not be clear, but you don't have to see the whole road to take the first step. Small steps lead to great victories. Every step forward weakens fear, silences excuses, and brings you closer to your destiny. So make a decision today. Stop thinking about what could be and start doing something about it. Whatever is in your heart, whatever you've been called to do, whatever dream you've been afraid to pursue, start now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday, now. Because the greatest tragedy is not failure, it's never starting. The cost of inaction is too high. The reward of action is too great. So step forward, move, do, and watch as your life begins to change, one act of courage at a time.